Action.
Hello. Today we're going to talk about riding. We're going to work on terminology just a little bit here. So we'll just do this standing up right here. So when I go right here, that's called a crab ride. And then this is called a half. And then if I come all the way across, that's called a claw. And that can be a little confusing. So I think of this like maybe there's a big claw. It's so big that it goes off to the other side. So that's claw, crab, half. And then I wanted to talk about grip. Sometimes we grab something like this, and we'll come around, we'll grab right here. That's called a forearm hook, like that. So one other thing, we're going to talk about a thigh pry. So if I go down and I put one hand right there, that's called a thigh pry. And if he sits out, that can be real helpful. If he's sitting out into me, I can do a double thigh pry, and I can push him back forward. So that's thigh pry, just to get some terminology down. And then sometimes we put our hands together, we just put our palms together and go like this, and no thumbs. And it can start out like this, but then kind of ratchet up, and that's called the butterfly grip. So that's another thing.
It's right next to the jiu-jitsu place.
So one more terminology is this whole thing about hands and hand control. This is called a cross wrist. This is called a 2-on-1. And this is called a 1-on-1. So cross wrist, 2-on-1, 1-on-1. Our most basic breakdown is going to be a spiral ride. And so a spiral ride, we're going to even start with our hand like this. So when we get set, I'm going to put our hand here. I'm going to put my hand on his hip right here instead of going all the way around. So I'm going to go, when the whistle goes, I'm going to grab right here, and I'm going to spin and pull him down. Okay? So, Farrah, let's have you come on over here. You can take a look, get a picture of this. So we're going to ride, we're going to get set, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go right here on this hip. Come on over on this side here, Bear. So I'm going to get set, and when the whistle blows, I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to grab right here, and I'm going to knock it out. Okay? So that's the spiral ride. Another way to do the spiral is, since you're here now, is to go right here with the thigh pry, and then knock it up, or push here. So, and that also works really well. That's going to be our number one breakdown. That's the one that we're going to use most often. Spiral ride. So the next thing we're going to do, that is probably going to be our second most common breakdown, is to do a far knee, far ankle. And so we call it a far knee, far ankle. Sometimes, so I grab the far ankle, and I grab the far knee, but sometimes you can just go waist. It doesn't matter too much here, okay? So, and sometimes you start with the knee, and you come to the waist, and you end up sliding around to the other side, and that's great because I get a super deep, tight waist that way, which is very helpful for when I start attacking this arm right here, either going like this, or chopping and getting that hand right there, okay? So let's do a far knee, far ankle. So off the whistle, normally we're pretty far up on him. I get farther back, I go like this, and I knock him down, or I hit him, he doesn't go down, and I slide to the other side. I can continue to keep that ankle, and I can drive forward with that, right? I can drive forward with that, or I can come around and grab a chicken wing, or I can chop it. Okay? And so this is a far knee, far ankle you should be able to do to this side or to this side. Alright, what I'm holding here is a crescent wrench. Okay? And I'm using this as a demonstration. We're going to do a near ankle drive. And this is what your arm is like when you're doing a really deep waist. Okay? Because you're on both sides. Say I want to do this near ankle drive from a far knee, far ankle. And when I do this, I've got one arm on this side of him, I've got one arm on this side, and that's just like that crescent wrench. I really torque, and it does not feel good. Okay? So when we do a far knee, far ankle, just in general, we want to have like a crescent wrench on this guy's gut. So we're going to get lined up, we're going to do a cross, far knee, far ankle. He may not go down, but I'm going to grab right there, and I'm going to really make it uncomfortable for him. And Dan, you can see his body is tipped. I'm going to drive forward on that leg. He may go down. If he doesn't, so let's drive. I'm going to drive Dan this way. Just show how he goes down. If he doesn't, I have a trick that I want to show you. So I'm going to drive him this way. So, let's do it from this side. Far knee, far ankle. I put a crescent wrench on his gut. I grab right here. That's part of the far knee, far ankle. I couldn't get his knee. I slide off. I grab that gut, and I drive. I drive. He may go down. If he doesn't go down, instead of driving forward, his leg is strong here. I can drive. If he doesn't go over, I slip off to the side, and I pull him this way. Once I pull his leg this way, it's no longer strong. And I can pull him down, and then I can come up. So that's how to do a near ankle. And in fact, if you like doing a near ankle drive where you're going like this, it's better if you start on the opposite side. Okay, so we're doing far knee, far ankle, and then you slide off to where you're comfortable. You like being on this side when you start? Well, that's where you're going to end up. You're going to be on your comfortable side. You're going to feel good about being here. And then you're going to be able to do this move better because you're where you want to be. Far knee, far Great. Here is the essential pieces of doing a half Nelson. Dan, I'm going to have you move just a little bit, like just right about right there. Okay, so the essential pieces of doing a half Nelson. For a half Nelson to work, his head has to be down and his shoulder. Okay? That has to be down. If the head and the shoulder are down, you're in good shape. You're going to stick your hand through that hole. And then you don't even need to take them all the way over. At this point, I'm scoring points. Dan is exposed. All right, so just hold him here, score a point. So that's an essential piece of doing a half Nelson. You need to grab that wrist. If I try to do a half Nelson without grabbing that wrist, how am I going to get that shoulder down? Dan's not going to go down. I can't do a half Nelson very easily if that shoulder is up. So the way that we're going to kind of do a half Nelson, I'm going to let you have your head up, is we're going to come in here, we're going to grab both of these wrists. I'm going to put my head on top of his head, and I'm going to push him forward. One of those arms is going to pop out. And when it does, when it comes around, I'm going to follow it, and I'm going to put that hand on top of his shoulder. I'm going to make sure that his shoulder and his head are on the mat. I'm going to shove my hand in this little triangle right here, and I'm going to roll him over. That's how you do a basic half Nelson. This next move that we're going to show is called a wrist half. And so we might ride this one, we might get this one off of our, and this is a great move, off of our spiral ride. So let's start over here, chest, belly button, elbow. And I'm going to ride like this, and I'm going to get that wrist right there. I still got the thigh pry, and I grab the wrist. Then what we do, so this move is called wrist half. I'll let you come up. Then the next thing we do is we grab that half Nelson. Step one, spiral ride, grab the wrist. Number two, grab this half Nelson. Three, we got hop sides. And then right here, I get my elbow to elbow because it's too hard to do otherwise. And I ride him down. There's a little hole right here, this little triangle between the mat, his shoulder, and his head. I'm going to shove my hand through that hole. Shove it in there. And I don't need this hand anymore. And I roll him over. So that's called a wrist half. And then one little permutation on the wrist half is if he doesn't go over, right, he starts to really get up. Well, then we need to get him back down again. So let's start again. Spiral ride. Get the wrist, throw in the hand. Hop side. And I'm running. He won't go down. I'm going to do a knee block. So I have to have Pete come over on this side. Come all the way over here. So I'm going to block his knee with my knee. Right? So I'm going to block his knee, and I'm going to pull him right up against me, just how we want to wrestle. We don't have to worry about him being right up against our belly. Put him down, and I'm going to roll him over. So that's a wrist half and a knee block half. This is all half Nelsons, nothing special. Our next position fighting from on top. So probably not going to turn him over, but we're going to wreck his position. We're going to knock him forward. Is to do what we call is a lift and flip. And so we're going to pretend that we've gotten into our power position right here. And what I'll do is I'll take my hand off of his shoulder and grab onto his elbow. Then I'm going to take this thigh pry and I'm going to grab onto this on the inside of this far ankle. And then I'm just going to pull and lift as hard as I can. 1, 2, 3, like that. And he might go all the way over, but he probably won't. He'll land right about there, and we're probably going to do a half Nelson from there, which we'll teach later. We're going to do the lift and flip again from this side. And so again, chest on, cover the belly button, cover the elbow, and we're going to go to our power position, the thigh pry. I'm going to drop down to that elbow. I'm going to take my hand out right here. I'm going to grab on the inside of his ankle, not the outside, the inside. So I got to stick my hand in between his butt and his leg. I'm going to grab the inside of that ankle. And then I'm just going to pull, take an elbow, take a leg off the table.
Excellent.
So the next move that we're going to show, our next favorite ride, is called a barbed wire. If you ever know what barbed wire looks like, it's twisted. It's twisted. And so that's what we're going to do to Dan's arms. And the way that we do that is that, if you can just see, I'm going to have one arm on the front and one arm on the back. Okay? And so let's start with the easiest way to do this, and that is if I knock them all the way flat. Okay? And so step one, let's just do a spiral ride here. This is one of our favorite rides. My chest right up on him. Cover the belly button. We'll do a spiral ride. And this arm is now forward. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to come on top, above his shoulder, and I'm going to grab right here. Not tight, down here. There's a little bit more leverage if I grab away. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to throw my shoulder forward, and that's going to punch my arm. And so that's going to set him on his shoulder. So I'm going to go like this. There, now I've got him there. And then remember what I said, that my arms are going to be on both sides of him. So after I punch my arm forward, so step one, grab on the elbow. Step two, throw your shoulder forward. Step three, take the other hand, grab right here. And then run them, and then I'm going to walk this way. And when I do that, his arms get twisted. And that's called the barbed wire. So let's do it one more time. We'll start with we're going to break them down, probably with the spiral. I'm going to come across, I'm going to grab right onto his elbow, throw my shoulder forward, and that punches him a little bit. And I'm sorry if that hurt. Take the other hand, grab right here, underneath. I got one hand in front of his, one hand here. Put him up on his shoulder, run around in a circle. And that's called a barbed wire. We can do this off of when he's up, but I don't want to do it. Let's not. It's too hard.
Action.
So if Dan's got a leg right on me, we can also do a barbed wire. So I'm gonna cross face. I'm gonna get my hips out, and look, one hand's in front and one hand's below his arms. And I pull him down. And if he doesn't go all the way down, I'm gonna reload. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna grab it real high. Okay, now I've got it. Okay, so if he doesn't go down, none of this stuff is cut and dry. We're wrestling. Come back. Really grab it. And then you bring him over. Come around in a circle. And we got him with barbed wire. Arms are twisted like barbed wire.
Okay.
All right, the next thing we're going to do is a cross-face cradle. And the cross-face cradle is a close cousin to the barbed wire. Okay? So, let's just start from the top here. Let's do a spiral ride. That's one of our best rides to knock him down. I'm going to get my chest on him, cover his belly button, get onto that elbow. Do a spiral ride. and I'm gonna try to knock that forward, right? But, and right now you see he's good for, if you were gonna do a barbed wire, he's flat here. And that makes I can roll him over. But a lot of times guys will just start to sit out like this. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one hand here, I'm gonna keep this cross face right here, and with one hand here, I'm gonna run his head towards his knee. Like this. I'm gonna grab my own arm. This is kind of like a forearm loop right here. And I'm going to pull him back. And that's called a cross-face cradle. So, if you can't get him with the barbed wire, we're going to get him with the cross-face cradle. So let's do it one more time. Chest, belly button, elbow, spiral ride. Boom, I come for this. He sits, I block, I shove, I lock my hands, and I pull him backwards. And that's how you do a cross-face cradle.
Action.
All right, so this next move is called a cross wrist tilt. And we're probably going to get this in a cross wrist. So this is a cross wrist. And then I get off to the side so that I can see his knee. So if you have to remember this, picture that there's a little smiley face. I want to be able to see that knee. Hello, knee. Then I take the other arm, this one right here. I'm going to shove it in behind his knee right there. I'm going to grab right there on top of his forearm. This is a forearm loop right there, you see? And now I'm going to do is I'm going to roll him over. Welcome to my world. Right there. That's a cross wrist tilt. Let's do it one more time. I'm going to grab that arm. I got to get off to the side so I can see that knee. Okay, I'm going to take that other hand, the one that's not holding on to his wrist, shove it right there between his legs, grab onto his forearm, right there. You see that? And then I'm going to roll that way. Just like that.
Okay, go.
So a lot of times when you're in the scramble, you get a person down, they start to come back up. We're always reaching for control inside. He's always trying to keep us out from that, right? So we're trying to get inside control. So with our cross wrist tilt, something that can develop pretty easily is that he wants to get off of his belly, he wants to get back to his base. So we push down, we give him a little bit of room, and it's right there. We got what we want right here, right when he's just trying to get up, and then we go back into the tilt position. It's 3 points if you can keep him there for 5 seconds. It's 2 points if you keep it there for 2 seconds, and you can do it repeatedly. So, nice moves to have in your repertoire, because every once in a while you'll run into a situation where he just wants to get out, you just want to get points.
Action.
The next move that we're going to talk about is a double chicken wing. So this is a really fun move, and we're going to do it off of our far ankle waist breakdown, okay? So for this one I want to get back just a little bit. I'm going to go, and then I'm going to come around on this one. I'm going to get that real deep, tight waist, okay? So I'm going to do a far knee waist, or waist, far ankle. I'm going to come around, and then I'm going to grab that arm right here. I'm going to pull it up and put one right there. That's called a chicken wing. Once I get that, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to grab the other one. Now I got two of them. I got his arms behind his back like this. And so then what I'm going to do is he's kind of stuck right here. I mean, you just kind of got to mess with it. But one way that we're going to teach here is that I'm going to do a knee block. If you remember from the knee block half Nelson, I'm going to do a knee block right here, and I'm going to stack them. It's called a stack. So a knee block, stack, right there. Try that one more time. So far knee, far ankle, or far ankle waist, You just have to get used to saying that. Okay, get down a little bit. I'm across. I'm going to slip off, but I'm going to have a nice tight waist, which is really uncomfortable. I'm going to grab onto that elbow, pull it back. Okay? All right, come back. Grab this one, pull it back. And I'm going to do a block on that knee right there. I'm going to do a knee block. I'm going to stack. Stack. If he doesn't go down, or if he flattens out, his belly's down, what you can do is you just slip your thigh right there, and you can just really just pop over, and that'll work together.